what's up, everybody? Welcome. It's me, Kai, or Avel, as some of you may know me from the chat or kind of funny community. I'm trying a little bit of a interesting thing because I'm trying to extend the kind of funny InReview series for Aladdin with a third entry, namely the musical version. And it's going to be very interesting how this is going to relate to the first the animated movie and of course to the live action movie that I'm going to see tomorrow. So yay. And also I did a little bit of a fancy dressing today. So see you later. So I've just came out of the musical, just came home, and wanted to give you a little bit of my impressions of this whole musical thing. And uh, if you would have the chance that at some point, I don't know, you would happen to be in an area where they are going to do this musical, I would definitely recommend it. I think there's also the American version of this musical because this one was definitely the German version, and it was mainly, I think, also first played in Hamburg. Now it's as a resident here in Stuttgart, and let's just say it's basically an entire movie. Of course, there are some slight differences. For example, some characters in the movie could not really be translated. For example, Abu was nowhere to be seen. They really managed to get him, so to say, a good replacement. So Aladdin has now, let's just say, a posse of three guys that he always hangs around with and always sings and dances and does some interesting stuff with them. Otherwise, the I'm not really sure what the name was. The henchman of the bad guy is could not. I mean, the bird could not really be translated as well. So they made it in person. And otherwise, they really stuck with the main core of the story. There was one scene that they definitely could not really do as a musical scene. That was the drowning scene. And what they did instead was basically the three guys that were helping Aladdin at some point were trying to storm and invade the castle when Aladdin was supposed to drown. So he is now put into a prison, and they want to get him out of the prison. And yeah, hilarity ensues, of course, during this fighting scene, and eventually the same things are happening as in the movie, and more or less it's the same same structure. There are some interesting beats here and there that was slightly different. For example, the way how Aladdin meets Jasmine for the first time is slightly different, but there was quite an awesome choreography where they were dancing on the streets. So Aladdin was with his three guys, and eventually Jasmine gets to the street. So this is mainly shortly after she wanted to get out of the castle. And what's happening at that point is you have the theme of Aladdin, and then suddenly they start dancing more slowly, so it's getting more into a slow motion scene, and then it's getting intermixed with Jasmine's theme. So it's really went well. And the standout character here was definitely the guy who did who made the genie. So he really put a spin on. So it's in Germany it's a little bit different because you have Robin Williams that is basically been spoken by another guy here in Germany. He was called Per Augustinski. He was also a famous German comedian at some point. Also did lots of voiceover acting, and but he really tried to funnel the original Robin Williams, and they were introducing something like The Price is Right, or at some point he even did the floss dance from Fortnite. So also they really tried to make it more contemporary and put some new stuff in it. Also very local stuff here from Stuttgart. So at some point they put up the Mercedes star. So that was quite fun. So overall, it was a wonderful experience, um, and I'm really looking forward to watching the movie tomorrow with Will Smith, and I'm very interested in seeing how they are related to what's happening in the movie, or whether they also incorporate some things of the musical as well. Because I think at some point it was also at the Broadway, at least some other version of it. So it's kind of interesting. Also, they introduced some additional other storylines. For example, there was a whole running theme with Aladdin singing to his dead mother. I think this was in the original Aladdin script before it was changed a year earlier, before it came out. They had a mother character in this movie, but they had to cut it out. I think they even made songs for that. I have to research whether this is actually reused work from those things, but it had an interesting storyline because it was more for Aladdin to make himself proud, or at least to become a proud person for his mom, for his dead mom. And it was a very powerful thing, very powerful stuff. And yeah, overall, Jasmine is basically Jasmine from the movie. The genie. I mean, of course, it's really was a standout character here. Also, Jafar was great in it, and of course the new characters as well. The stages, I have to tell about the stages. It's sometimes so it's really was a matter of seconds until they changed the entire scene, the background and stuff like that, and they really had some interesting choices where they had moving pieces where they move on one side and then turn to the other side, and then it's basically shift could be put together, so it's like a combined piece. And at some point they went into the cave, so everything was gold and everything was lit up, and that was a magical side also. They had some magical scenes where they had some magic tricks, and some other major standout scene was the magic carpet ride, which they actually did on stage, and I have no idea how they did this. So at some point I was looking for whether wires or harnesses or whatever. I couldn't see anything, so it was kind of a magical scene. And I'm going to wonder whether they're having similar things tomorrow in the movie, which I'm going to see with a friend here in the original version in 3D. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So I hope you got a little bit for this short, let's just say, side mini additional review that I thought would be very nice to put in between the original Aladdin and the cinema version, which it's coming out this today or over this weekend. So yeah, that's the moment that we will pass. So enjoy. Bye.